This is the before video for the hurricane. It looks like it already hit, but this is just one little squall that went by. It's supposed to come by tomorrow, or really going to be bad tomorrow evening, by the evening time. But I just wanted to document what's going on in this garden. We kind of prepped it the best we could for some strong winds. Got a couple things that are happening here that we're gonna try to let keep happening. We got some dwarf namois that just popped out a week or two ago, and they're ripening really nice. Problem is it's gonna get heavy, and then when the wind blows, or it is heavy, and when the wind blows, it could fall. We'll see. I took the tarp off of the nursery. I still have to move these plants so they don't blow. These are some bananas that I just repotted. They're fine. This meringue is already struggling, but I'm gonna leave the leaves on it this time because when I cut the leaves on the other ones in the last hurricane, they didn't grow back because it got really flooded. So I think it's better to leave the leaves on so when the sun comes back out, they drink the water, go right to the leaves. There's a miracle berry down there. I didn't even think about moving this, but I might have to if it gets really windy. I'm gonna leave it probably. I got a moringa here. You have the bamboo here, just had new shoots coming out of it. I think this is as tall as this one's gonna get. It's probably about 10 feet. And this is supposed to just be a little privacy bamboo. Oh man, that already looked like it broke. I have to see how this stuff goes. All this stuff's kind of small over here and can be replaced, but I think there's some nice flowers in here that I planted from Echo. So that stuff should be okay. Took down the shade there. The peacock's doing good. This might blow around a little bit, but it should hold up. I trimmed all this stuff. I tried a new technique with the pigeon peas because sometimes if you just cut these, top them off, notice that they die. This one hasn't even flowered yet, and it's really tall for not flowering yet, but I just cut the lower branches off and some of the bigger ones that were upper, but I left, well, this one I actually cut the top of because it was going really high, but the other ones I left the top. So this is my experiment to see which ones come back after this storm, because if you leave all the leaves on these things, this thing will be sideways for sure. It's just not strong enough to support itself. Here's another one. And you can see I left the top, didn't top it, but I just took the big leaves off. This is another one. Might even blow with that amount of leaves. I don't know. Similar thing with these mulberries. They weren't ready to be trimmed, but if I leave them, they'll just be sideways. They're supposed to be up to 75-mile-an-hour winds and maybe more gusts. This moringa I'm a little concerned with, but I'm trying a technique where I'm braiding it for more support. So we'll see how that holds, but I didn't trim that. I'm protecting mango back here, small mango. I think that's a Pickering. There's this banana, ice cream banana, which is, I just noticed today that there's a flower coming out of the top of it. See that behind the leaf back there? So that's ready to drop a rack. So I took a couple leaves off it so it doesn't blow. I kind of just left it as is. And I did the same thing with this mulberry, trimmed it way back. And here's just some cranberry hibiscus that's blowing around. There is a ice cream bean back here. It's not tall enough that it needs trimmed. There's a mango here. I was trying to train it to be out towards these edges, but because the storm's gonna come and there's a lot of wind, I just want it to be free from that. So I took the training strings off of it basically so it could be itself. There's some more Mexican sunflower. Some more Mexican sunflower. There's grass growing all through here. I just keep cutting this grass. It's nice. It's coming back. There's a shampoo ginger back in here. There's a plantain here that's just popping out. Planted a long time ago. It's finally starting to grow. There's some more Mexican sunflower. There's some citrus in there. The girls are doing great. They're gonna have access only to this in the hurricane. We reinforced the shade really good and reinforced their coop and their run. So we'll close the door here so they can't go in here or their tunnel tomorrow, because it's gonna get breezy and I don't need the chickens trying to fight the weather. I still got all these moringas down here that I cut, but I think they'll be fine for the storm. Trimmed up these bananas and this cranberry hibiscus, and you can see what happened in the last hurricane. I think it was about a month ago, maybe more. I had big moringas down here and Mexican sunflower, and the storm, I trimmed them before the storm because I didn't want them to blow over, because they usually blow over in high winds, and they never came back. I could literally pull them out of the ground because they were so sopping wet. But there is a lot more water that pools up down here. We had major flooding, so there was 6 inches of water or so from this fence all the way down to the back of the yard here. So I think those are pretty much shot along the fence there, so we can plant something else. So that part's gonna be new. Trim this Barbados cherry tree way down. A couple weeks ago I trimmed it, a few weeks ago I guess, and it's already growing back, and I cut off the 2 taller ones today because they were just gonna blow in the wind. So this should be completely fine. Here's another moringa that I trimmed before the last hurricane, and you can see it started to grow back. But nothing really. So I think the roots got wet, soppy wet, and I don't think it had any leaves on it. So there's nowhere for the water to go. Didn't sprout out new leaves. I think it just drowned. Sisu spinach, doing really good. Toilet paper plant, some cosmos, a bunch of weeds around this little chicken run extension. In here is all kinds of ginger and cassava I threw in there, and different kinds of gingers and turmerics. These are canna lilies, galangal ginger. This is a type of peacock flower, and nitrogen fixer, more sisu. And this is a cellulon berry tree. See how that grows. I just kind of stuck it in there a long time ago. It's just starting to grow now. There's some katuk and shampoo ginger. And this bird of paradise, trimmed a little bit, but it still has a pretty flower on it. Usually these have been holding up since we moved in. We started growing these, so I don't think we're gonna lose them. They're not that big that they could crush anything, so it should be okay. I left this katuk. I want to see how this does in the wind. I think it should be fine. I don't know. It grows back pretty good, so I could cut it, but we'll see. Some gingers, turmerics, different kinds in here too. Shampoo ginger, elephant ear, shampoo ginger. I got my aloe plants. And here's the chicken tunnel, or chunnel. There's another moringa. This one's trying to grow back. The wind already got this one. This is another peacock. This one did fine in the wind. Let's see if we can fix this moringa. These moringas do not do well in high winds. I don't think they are made for that part of it. They like everything else in sandy Florida, but they don't like the wind. They can handle the drought. They can handle a decent amount of rain, not flooding, but a decent amount of rain. But what they really don't like is the wind. They just break and fall over. There's cosmos in here. There's a blue turmeric in here. There was a little mimosa tree down there, but it looks like something was eating it or something fell on it. So it might be done. There's more sisu, cassava, frangipani or plumeria. There's same thing happened to it. Might have got over wet with the last hurricane, sitting in water. Ginger's happy. Cocoa banana tree starting to regrow here. Got a lot of pups. Some more gingers and toilet paper plants, cassavas. You can kind of see where what we like to grow here. What really grows good is the cassavas and the gingers and the bananas. And this is a blue butterfly pea. Makes a nice tea. It's grown since the hurricane, so it's gotten very thick since the hurricane. So I don't know what this is going to do to it. I did have this plant on the old chicken coop that was here, and it made it through some hurricanes, and it was okay. Here's another mulberry that I really trimmed up. The only thing I didn't do was top it. I left it just like that, so hopefully it can get wind, but not lean. And I think that would do it, because there's not a lot of leaves, just enough leaves, so when the sun does come out, I should be able to recover. I think I could probably top it and it would come back still, but I don't want to mess with it. You can see back here, there was a Mexican sunflower here, a senulata, toilet paper, galangal ginger, some lemongrass. This is an ice cream bean that was trimmed, and it didn't really like it here, but it looks like it has new growth, so it's coming back, which I'm happy about that, because I'd really like this to grow up and shade the run in the afternoon, the chicken run. Back here, we redid their water because it was leaning, so we emptied it and then put the blocks and leveled it so it's not leaning anymore, so that's good. It goes to their gutter, gives them water, and a little compost system in here. It's their little run extension. I threw in some bunch of yard stuff, so they're digging through everything looking for bugs. Now we can see down here the avocado. It was super leany in the last hurricane. It was Hurricane Debbie, and I straightened it, put these toe straps on, and now these are actually getting loose now, so I know that it's good. It should hold up. And then I trimmed it way back. Just recently trimmed off a branch here that was growing that way. So now it's kind of, there's no branches in the middle. The middle's opened up, and it should be able to just grow straight from here. So I think it should be fine in the storm, because there's not much on it that can blow. I took down the shade for this rain barrel, so that's gone. This is their channel extension. Oh, over here I just planted 2 different types of sugarcane. That's a Jamaican stripe, and this one is Hilo Buddha. They're really cool. They have red and green stripes for sugarcane. Then there's this is a red banana. This is a galangal ginger. So there was dwarf namwaz here, and we just took them out. Sent some of the pups to Costa Rica because they don't have those in Costa Rica. Oh, and I moved the old wind chime that was here like a gong, and then look, there must have been wasps because now there's like a bunch of wasps on this rope holding up this chicken run. So that's interesting. So I don't need to walk that way. So back in the compost, I drilled on that cover so it'll stay on. We took down the balls for their hawk deterrent. This sugarcane, I'm not gonna cut it, but I don't think it's gonna make it through the storm. That's a red, like a Florida red, I think it's called. So I got a sugarcane press, so we might try to make some sugarcane after the storm if those fall. There's another ice cream banana in there, another moringa that's really old and it's sprouted out from the roots of some big branches, and I'm just gonna leave those because now we have this fence up on this side, so it might get some protection from the wind. So we'll see. And did all my precautionary stuff on the shed because it leaks a little bit, and we got everything pushed back in here. So we're all set up. Everything's pushed up against the wall. We trimmed the copy vine way back, like maybe 2 weeks ago. It had no leaves on it. I was afraid it wasn't gonna come back, but it was all up in the gutter and down this whole thing and all over the place. And it was making a mess here. So we cut it way back, and we're gonna give it a chance to regrow. I've yet to do a heavy cut on it, except for this was the first one. So it's looking really happy. The leaves are coming back really good. And we got some big chunks of branches of it. So it's healthy. It's like close to maybe 8, no, not quite 8, maybe 7 years old. You can see the thickness of it. Grew it from a seed from somewhere in the Amazon, not sure where. And you can see the pattern on it from where the big cuts are. So that'll get a chance to regrow. There's some larvae swimming around in there. It usually has a board over it, but to protect it from sun, but we're not gonna need to worry about the board because there's not gonna be sun for the next few days, at least next couple days. So yeah, that's the gist of it. We took down the passion fruit over here. Took down one of the passion fruits. There was one growing here and it died. Again, I think it was because of the hurricane. It got flooded out. And this one isn't the purple possum passion fruit. This one is, I think, from El Salvador, the seed was. So that one seems to be okay dealing with the flooding. So I'm gonna let that one go. We just trimmed it back. And I'm gonna move some of this stuff. And we'll see you after the storm. Thanks.